I can do this. You ready? I'm definitely fucked. It's weird. I feel like a granddad talking about this game. It feels like a piece of internet history at this point. Like, I'll be 90 and wake up in a sweat muttering about Fall Guys and Among Us like some wartime PTSD. This game felt like a blip. It came into my life for a few weeks and went out of my life. And like that uncle that swears he's been there for your whole life, it came back a few years later and was dropped just as quickly. What happened to this game? It's not bad, and if anything, it's still a really fun time. So how did it die so quickly? Well, I don't think that it's only because it was a fad or a trend. I think the game aged abnormally fast. Let me explain. So, Fall Guys came out, and Jesus Christ, that was quick. Insta Hint doesn't even start to explain how fast the game blew up. Even if you had no clue what this game was beforehand, you knew about it now. In case you somehow don't know what this game is, Fall Guys is a rip on Wipeout, an obstacle course competition where you are trying to be the last bean standing. Why'd that feel racist? The controls are simple. You can run, jump, dive, and grab. It's simple, but sweet. Tag along with the hilarious ragdoll physics and the incredibly unbalanced biology of the beans, and you have a recipe for a big hit game that is both hilarious and incredibly annoying to play. Each obstacle course has a few flavors to watch out for. First is obstacle courses. Obstacle courses are very fun and the bread and butter of this game. You try to get to the end, and if you are within the amount to get qualified, you go to the next round. Obstacles, gravity zones, other contestants are all in your way to try and stop you from reaching the end. Next is survival. This is where you can encounter most of your random game types. This one is either played as survive for X amount of time to win, only X amount of people can survive or die, or get to the end. These are very polarizing. Some can be extremely annoying with you battling demons to win. Yet for as annoying as this can be, just screwing little Timmy over and barely qualifying is so goddamn satisfying it hurts. Then there are team games, or these ones suck mostly because you have to rely on someone else. And as we all know, you can't trust anyone who isn't using your fingers and toes to play. Then on the last round, they give you a different pool of mini games that can be within one of these classifications. Just, you know, it's whoever is standing last wins. That's the game! The only other place of discussion would be the cosmetics, which spice up your character and lead to some pretty cool combinations. Emotes, skins, the whole lot. The coolest part is probably the win animation that you can change to show a cool different animation whenever you win. This game, like many other simple but sweet instant hit games, makes a killing off selling you these stupid little bean skins. And of course, eventually they dip their whole body into collabs. I can't even hide the parallels to Fortnite with how many collab skins there are already. Now, how did a game with such a big boom in popularity die off so quickly? To explain that, I need to talk about a different game. Fortnite, how you doing, Lady Luck? You both are owned by the same company, so basically the same game. Fortnite quickly rose to fame just like Fall Guys, but when did it start to die or age out of the popularity in a sense? Well, for that, say hello to Playground. This was a handy dandy way to either mess around with friends or do stupid challenges or just, you know, sweat. A game that has sweat levels and higher frequencies will lead to the game's fall off, or at least will turn off newer players, you know, the ones you want to stay. Even though this wasn't the reason the game is dropping off as heavily as it is now, the fact remains that games are more fun when everyone's a little shit. So introducing Playground mode made this game turn from a chill time with the occasional sweat to a game where half the player base can crank 90s and still be classified as a novice builder. This is how a game ages. As the player base gets better, you have some who stay and usually a lot who go. How the game decides to handle this aging is how fast the game will age. Now, how does this relate to Fall Guys? Because there wasn't some mode or something that made the game sweaty or unfun off the get-go. And you're right, because that was baked into it. Tell me this, a humble guess. How many minigames were in the original Season 1 of Fall Guys? If you said 25, you'd be correct. Obviously this on its own isn't an issue, but think about it like this. If you're playing this game constantly and have guides and such on how to do it as good as possible, how long do you think that it would take you to become a sweat lord? I'd say even a week might be, you know, too much time. It sucked to play because so many people were trying their asses off and you couldn't do a damn thing about it. Now you may say that this wouldn't cause it to die off so fast, and in normal circumstances, you're right. But the time this was made was the real linchpin. See, this was prime pandemic time, when people needed an out and turned to gaming for it. So a cool, fun, simple looking and playing game was exactly what they needed. That was the boom. So let's say it's a split. Half the players are gaming pros who are having fun stomping on noobs, and the other half are noobs who are getting stomped on when they are just trying to have a little fun. Obviously they would try to play something else, less annoying to play, aka Among Us. That left all the sweats to battle other sweats, which was unfun without a reason, like a ranked mode or something like that, so they left. Things needed to change. So in Season 2, their chance to make a big comeback since the game wasn't dead just yet, they brought out 6 new minigames. Now, I don't think I need to say this, but Mediatonic, sit down and reflect on how big of a dumbass you are. This didn't fix the problem, it only added a few more lousy things to learn. So the casuals left just as quickly as they came back, and those few people who still wanted to sweat slowly trickled down until the game was, in my opinion, dead. Now the game is dying. What do you do in your 40s? Oh yeah, a midlife crisis. Back to Fortnite, they saw their game taking a plummet, so they brought back the OG map for a season, bringing hype into the game that lasted a while before inevitably fading back to the pits of irrelevancy. The problem is games do age, and will lose players whether you like it or not. It's just dependent on the game to try and fix whatever it is leading to more death and growth. Mediatonic wanted to port Fall Guys to all platforms, so they made it an event called Free Fall Guys. This was a pretty brilliant move, using the ports as an excuse to get this game back on the map. Now the Switch being shit meant that they needed to downsize the lobbies from 60 players to 40, but since they had a catalog of over 60 minigames that most players had never even played, they didn't have to worry about people getting turned off so fast. The game quintupled in sales for launch week. They were on top of the world. Nothing could go wrong. Reality's a bitch, isn't it? Hey guys, the game is bigger than ever and my pockets are deeper than the Mariana Trench. Let's vault half these mini games and do exactly what killed us in the first place. Yes! How in the hell do you come up with the grand idea of vaulting half of your mini games, basically making the problem come right back around? Oh yeah, the game died. Who could have thunked? They did have a new platform in the playground where you can make your own maps. It was a novel idea that could have worked, but only became fully realized once it was too late. Now Fall Guys is an old man, bitter, sad, and nearly no hope of coming back. But why do I care? When I make a video, I just think about a game or stumble upon it and decide, hey, let's dissect this thing. I looked through my old PlayStation history and saw Fall Guys, and I had this video in mind. So I booted up and...
How's this, Squidward?
It's beautiful.
Now, of course, I have problems, like the bots that do make the game feel less authentic, but the maps are complex, fun, and filled with life. Many being player-made and incredibly impressive. This game was fun. That is why I wanted to make this video, because the game didn't die because it is bad. If anything, it's only gotten better. It just aged way too fast. Players got too skilled, minigames got stale. This game died because the vision was realized too late, and the people were gone before they could keep them enthralled. I implore you to check out Fall Guys and see how much fun it is nowadays. And I would say that this game is an 8 out of 10 fun minigame royale. Alrighty, you impertinent bean! I will not lose to a god. Fuck! GG, well played, I guess.